Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon in 12 noon British time. Welcome around the world. Really pleased to introduce our Brand Connect concept done by the Professional Beauty Group. I just spent a couple of minutes talking, or a couple of moments talking about, we're actually about 34 years old, having run Professional Beauty that time, starting in the UK. But actually, some of our magazines go back to 1880, Hairdressers Journal. And Salon International as an expo is almost 50 years. So we've been chugging along a while and are pleased to say are in India, Ireland, South Africa, UK, UAE, and even do a spa convention in Thailand. So an international group. I believe in the beauty hair sector, we're either second and third largest, and we're very pleased to bring you Brand Connect. And this is a concept we've launched. Events in most countries over COVID are back. We've just had our recent Salon International Professional Beauty, and whilst we were slightly down on visitors, those that came were so up for meeting. It was wonderful to see people face to face, and exhibitors were really happy. But this is an international concept. It's almost a kind of, Vic will be upset with me saying it's an online dating for brand owners, distributors, and manufacturers to get together. Since travel is restricted, we can't really go to Australia unless you're Australian going back home, and we can't getting into Thailand and Japan are challenges. And we've brought together a platform where brand owners, distributors, and suppliers, manufacturers can connect one-to-one. So if I'm based in Germany, a hair care brand looking for a distributor in Vietnam, I can meet that distributor on Brand Connect. And it's next week, 3 days, 8th, 9th, and 10th of November, online at Professional Beauty on our group, and we'll fill in the details in a minute. And so you'll be able to connect and search specifically on what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for nail polishes manufactured in France, I can search that. If I'm looking for a hair care distributor in Indonesia, I can search that and meet that individual, connect with him or her, and then go directly either by chat or a live video link. And in addition to that, we've got 2 conference sessions, which I'll introduce my colleague Vic will go into in a little bit more, our IMF, International Brand Owner and Manufacturer Forum, and CP, Cosmetics, Ingredient, Packaging International. So on the IMF, we're really getting to grips with the discussion that the brand owners have. I've started a brand and I'm frustrated with my distributor who's not kept pace with my growth. Or the other way around, I'm a great distributor and I'm frustrated with the brand owner who hasn't perhaps developed as much as he or she should have done. And so we're discussing issues like that. And actually, before, I'm talking too much as always, but before I hand over to my colleague, is one of our first sessions on Monday the 8th, 10 a.m. UK time. We've got 3 fantastic entrepreneurs who I know well, 2 from the UK, Roy Cowley and Karen Betts, and then 1 from India, Ryad Merchant, on how to start their own brands. They all started as distributors, and now in some cases still are great distributors, and others then have gone to develop their own brands. And what fantastic entrepreneurs from, you've got a UK perspective, European perspective, and an Indian perspective. And if you just tune in for that session and none other, you'll really get a lot of learnings, because these are guys and girls that will share who've really done it. And that's what we're all about, is that it's all very well listening in a classroom style. If I go to a conference, whether online or face-to-face, I want to really learn on how that person's done that, how they've messed up and learned from those mess up. So before further ado, I'll introduce you to our boss of our Indian business, Professional Beauty India, Vic Asvij, known to his friends as Vic. Hello, Vic. What do you think are the highlights for the conferences?
Thanks for the intro, Mark. I'll probably say most of it, actually, because it's, we've packed out. We've got almost 8 sessions a day, so it's 24 sessions in 3 days. As you mentioned, there's 2 conference streams. You've got the IMF, which is really talking about that relationship between the brand and the distributor. And then we've got CP, which is really looking at it's a new introduction to the group, which we actually launched in India 2018, and we brought to the UK market last year. And that's really looking at that early part of the value chain of building beauty and cosmetic products, where you're looking at the ingredients, the sourcing, the packaging, and just on the CP side. I mean, it's quite topical now because we're in the whole midst of COP26, the big discussion about what countries and leaders can do around sustainability and climate change. But we've been looking at, within the agenda, what can our industry do around, the environment, sustainability. There's big issues that all brands are now dealing with. They're no longer kind of things that are nice to have. They're becoming very much part of the core identity of brands. Consumers are looking for it, salons are looking for it, and brands are trying to figure out, what does sustainability mean to them. So it's, that whole kind of, and now with the pandemic that's been in the last 18 months, the whole issue around supply chain sourcing is becoming key issues, for brands to deal with. So on the CP agenda, we've got great experts from around the world, technical as well as business folk, talking about issues from greenwashing, because I think you'll know that if you look at a lot of brands nowadays, there's always kind of claims of environmentalism, clean products, etc. But there's a lot of kind of issues also around greenwashing, where the product may actually not stack up against what it's claiming. So we're breaking that down in terms of what can you actually say on a product, and where will you potentially fall foul of regulation, which could then lead to kind of huge damages against the brand.
You're also looking, aren't you? Am I right in the sense of if I'm starting off looking to manufacture, I can look at this, or if I'm a seasoned producer, you're also helping me on the issues facing me, whether I'm just starting. There are issues for those who are just starting and those who are much more seasoned.
Yeah, exactly. So even those points about how do you go about building a product stroke brands, like you said, you could be someone who's already in the industry. You're a hairdresser, you're a therapist, you're an existing distributor, but think, look, I want to do my own thing. I want to build my own brand, my own product. Where do I start? And it can be quite, a complex maze depending on which country you're in, and which kind of product you want to build. So we're giving tips and strategies on how to get started, as a manufacturer as well. We live in a world today where a lot of it is outsourced. So you've got what we call third-party, manufacturers. There's white labeling companies where you can actually go to an existing large-scale manufacturer, and just with your formulation or with your idea, and they'll build a product for you. And then your whole focus is then about building the brand. So that's kind of the CP side, like really how to build a product from scratch, how to scale it up, focusing on the ingredient side, packaging side. The IMF, like you mentioned, Mark, is very much about that relationship between the brand and the distributor. Again, it's what you talked about, where a brand may be looking for, we look at those conversations about how can brands scale up across different geographies. Should they be looking at JVs? Should they look at subsidiaries? Should they appoint distributors? If you're finding a distributor, what do you look for in that partner? And role reversal, if you're a distributor, what does it take to build a successful business in your market? Because simply having a good brand is just one part of it, but there's a lot that goes into building a successful distribution business. And other kind of issues we're looking at within the IMF are some of the new trends that are kicking in e-commerce. And while e-commerce was very much a B2C issue before, it's very much having an impact on B2B businesses. It's crept into the beauty side, and it's having an impact on professional brands and salons, etc. So we're having an incredible discussion on what impact e-commerce and players like Amazon and Alibaba are going to have on brand strategy. And there we've got the likes of Shane Frank, who's international sales manager for skin at Ascendis Health in South Africa, Tristan Lagarde, who's deputy GM for Fitomer in France, and Renee Parker, who's a co-founder and director of strategy of Invinci Group, but was very much part of Amazon as a core buyer of professional beauty products. So she led their strategy for procurement of professional beauty products to their platform. So very much looking at, you know, it's here to stay e-commerce. So what do you do about it as a brand? And that is a huge challenge that people have been facing over the last 18 months, especially. We've got a great conversation for young brand owners, even seasoned, about show me the money. So at what point should a brand look at external funding for scale? And there we have two seasoned investors and brand owners. One's Claire Sherry from True Ventures, and the other's Lara Morgan, who's founder of Centered and Global Amenities Direct. Again, really talking about what's your vision? Are you building a brand to sell out? Are you building it, you know, for a legacy? But they talk about that whole challenge about, you know, when do you want to bring external investment in, and what do you need to do from an owner's point of view? Because that whole mentality changes once you do sell out. So it's 3 great days of content. Dealing with
and both, I think it's free, isn't it, to enter if you go to...
Yeah, so all the content's free. We've got experts from, you know, across the world coming to contribute their thoughts, and it's very much peer-to-peer sharing. So it's really about brands talking to other brands and distributors talking to other distributors, really sharing their war stories and, you know, the kind of pain points they've been through over their journey building their brands, or building their distribution business. So it's great opportunity, as you mentioned, for free to learn from each other, to ask questions about, you know, where you may be stuck in your business or your strategy, and really then talk to experts about what they did in that situation, or what would they do, you know, in your situation.
Yeah, and there's lots of points where people can ask questions either on the chat or live at any time. So there's lots of points that people, the whole point of this is not just listening to experts, but to quiz them with your own questions, I believe. Isn't that right?
That's right. That's perfect. And then one of the other points I think we forgot to mention earlier is whole purpose is, you know, it's a dating, you know, it's a dating kind of tool, it's matchmaking, but we do have speed networking built into each day. So, you know, you get, you know, dedicated time to connect with, if you're a distributor looking for a new brand that you want to bring to your local market, or you want to set up as a distributor, there's dedicated time to go online, you know, during Brand Connect, and, you know, meet new brands. And if you're an existing brand wanting to find new distributors, or you're not quite 100% happy with your existing ones, you know, go and find, you know, distributors in different markets.
Well, it's next week, 8th, 9th and 10th of November, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty much from 8 a.m. UK time to 8 p.m. UK time. Brandconnect.live or professionalbeauty.world. Register now. You can register for free, and it is free to join all the conferences. I think if you're a brand wanting to sell, or a brand wanting to find there'll be an element of free interaction, and then the system will try and upsell you. And I think you can have a showcase for as little as $500 even now. So I think it's very low cost, but looking forward to seeing everybody live. And it's quite intimate. They're not going to be thousands of people there, are we? I think we're looking for about 300 or 400 a day. So it's not going to be a vast number of people on the system, but targeted for people looking to expand their reach and businesses and sourcing worldwide.
Yeah, so, as you mentioned, we're focusing on the quality interactions rather than, you know, mass market, you know, having lots of salons or therapists for this session. It's very much about business to business interactions.
Indeed. Brandconnect.live next week. See you. All the best.
Right. Cheers.